What up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to do a review of Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 13. So if you haven't seen Episode 13 of Season 11 of Married to Medicine, turn this video off and go watch the episode. Then come back and watch this review. Please like the review, subscribe to my channel. It's simple, it's free, it's anonymous. It takes less than 5 seconds of your time. So that's the best way to just like and subscribe. That's the best way to support my channel. I'm not a public speaker. I will tend to fumble my words and say and so and like 1,000 times. I may stop to regain my thoughts. I may slow my speaking down to regain my thoughts. Anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. I'm going to be looking at my notes that I take throughout the show. Excuse my heavy breathing, but we're going to get through this one. It's my last review I got to do today. And comment below what you would grade this week's episode, what you thought about it, if there's anything that I forget or I'm off on or I leave out or you just have a general opinion, leave it in the comments for those interactions. And yeah, I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really feeling this episode, and I'm probably gonna have a lot of people that don't like my opinion of this episode, but it is what it is. It's my review, so I'm going to give my opinion, bias or not, whatever. I'm going to grade this week's episode a C-. I really didn't enjoy the way that things are going. I'm not enjoying the way that things are going with this season. And I'm not feeling it. So yeah, I'm going to give it a C- and we're going to get into it. Last Chance, Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 13. If you haven't seen it, turn this video off so you don't get any spoilers. So, of course, at the top of the episode, we get the little short scenes. I don't really remember all that was going on. Scott showing first baby he ever delivered. Simone getting to see a child that's older that she delivered. You know, little small stuff like that. But for me, the top of this episode begins with Toya and Eugene. They're having a conversation. And Toya's asking Eugene if he's reached out to Greg. And Eugene's like, well, I'm just going to give him some time because I know if it was me, I would want a little time to cool off and whatnot. And then Toya expresses that she feels like everybody should have reached out to, I guess, Sweet Tea and Greg. So Quad goes to visit Heavenly and they talk about the Key West trip. Heavenly says that maybe Greg and Sweet Tea need some time away from the group. And she's like, they can't occupy the same space with you, telling Quad, you and King, y'all can't occupy the same space at the same time right now. Which I agree with. There's too many emotions there and whatnot, but I'm going to get into it. But so they go back to Toya and Eugene, and Toya talks with Eugene about inviting everyone to their 16th anniversary party, 16-year anniversary party. But first, she wants to get the couples together for some type of dance class before she invites everyone. So then we go back to Quad and Heavenly, and Quad is suggesting that they do something with just the ladies. And she says in her confessional that she won't be inviting Phaedra or Sweet Tea. So it's just like, because she says, I don't remember what she said the theme of her little get-together with the ladies was supposed to be, but it's just like, if you and Sweet Tea have the most issues in the group besides Contessa and Heavenly, not inviting Sweet Tea, that won't be any resolve. I was just like, oh, what's the point? But whatever. So we get to this dance rehearsal that Toya and Eugene are hosting or whatever. And the couples are there, minus Sweet Tea and Greg and Quad and King. And then Steve ends up coming later, but Dr. Mimi isn't with him. And we also have Anila and Karen there from last season or the season before last. I don't remember. Might as well just bring them back because her husband, Anila's husband, was the key. He was funny. But Heavenly tells Toya, Quad is upset and she's not coming. And she says she's not coming without King. So that makes me think like this. The way she said it, she made it seem like Toya invited Quad and not King. But either way, so Toya then passes out the invitations to her and Eugene's anniversary party. And she's like, well, we need to find a way for Greg, Sweet Tea, King, and Quad to like come back into the group, come back into the fold, whatever the case may be. So then Contessa drops this bomb. She's like, you know, Greg, he might have filed a restraining order against King for attempted assault. And then Simone in her confession talking something, that's a bitch move. And I'm just like, you are a doctor, lady. You calling, like, that's going to come back to bite her ass in the, at the reunion. They going to be like, you said it was a bitch move of Dr. Gregory. They're going to be looking at her funny because, like, why'd you even have to say that? So then Contessa says, you know, Greg feels like he was minding his business when King attacked him and tried to beat him up. And then then Damon chimes in talking about something. He didn't see it that way. And, of course, he's in his confessional standing 10 toes on what he said last time when he said he takes King's side. And it's just like, nigga, you still salty with Greg about the whole him not coming to your defense when Sweet Tea called him out for cheating or whatever on Heavenly. It's just like, we see right through you, Damon. Because it's just like, and it's like Greg saying that King, he was minding his business and King attacked him. So how I feel about that was, when they first had the conversation and Greg was like, I don't mean nothing, no disrespect towards you, King, blase, blase. And he got up and walked over to King. That was, in my mind, a disrespectful move. But King didn't do nothing then. But then, King, you decide later, when he's holding his wife back and trying to calm her down, to come up to him and try to confront him about some shit. That's where I felt like King was wrong. So I feel like they both was wrong. I feel like Greg, you was minding your business in that moment when King approached you, but in the beginning, when you approached King, you was wrong too. So I just feel like, but it's feeling like this whole episode, they not holding King or Quad accountable for what they did. I mean, granted, at the end of the episode, Simone says, you know, King took accountability and apologized or whatever, but still, it's just like, y'all making it seem like it was all all Greg and Sweet Tea's fault when it was not. And that's why I said my opinion is probably gonna be different from a lot of people's about this show and the way it's playing out. So then Eugene says that he and Scott already have plans to meet and sit with Dr. Gregory, and they're going to see if they can figure out how to have Greg and King sit down and talk. And then the couples learn the waltz, or they don't learn the waltz, because everybody just looked terrible. This is not very well. At least they had fun. So then we get to scene Toya, Mimi, and Sweet Tea. They meet up for drinks. Toya gives Sweet Tea her invitation to her anniversary party. And then Toya brings up Greg filing a police report. And she asks, like, what did the police say? And, you know, Sweet Tea, she's like, well, I'm not, she's like, that's my business. And she says, she says Greg felt like King had malicious intent because he took his shirt off and charged at him. And, I mean, it was a bit much because you took your shirt off, you charged at him, and then you got close to him, and you didn't do nothing. And don't tell me it was because Shek was holding you back, because Shek wasn't even holding you back like he wasn't really holding you back. Like, you could have got around Shek and got to Greg if you really wanted to. So I'm not saying it was malicious intent on King's part, but I'm saying King did do too much, because it's like, nigga, you ain't even do nothing when you did get to Greg. Greg did pipe up a little bit when security came over, saying I don't even know what he said to make King go off, but Greg, like I said, Greg's not innocent, but at the same time, they making it seem like Greg and Sweet Tea are the villains and the starters of it all. So then, so then she's like, Sweet Tea's like, you know, Greg felt like King had malicious intent and whatnot. And Toya's like, well, we got to give some people grace, because, like, she's like, then Toya and Mimi, and Toya is like, well, Sweet Tea, you were out of control that day. You have moments where you're not yourself. And then Mimi's like, I didn't even see my friend when you was doing all that. And I was just like, y'all just acting like, well, at least Toya, because we don't know that much about Mimi yet, but don't act like if it was vice versa and somebody tried to come at Eugene or whatever, you wouldn't be ready to bang too. Like, they acting like if they was in Sweet Tea's position, they wouldn't be ready to defend their man too. I was just like, why are they making it seem like Sweet Tea is the villain? It just so throwing me off. And then Mimi, you come in, you new, you fresh, and you saying stuff like you don't even know the dynamics yet. Even if you are a psychiatrist, whatever it is. So Toya then asked Sweet Tea, is it possible to have a sit down conversation with Quad? And then some of the stuff I don't like Sweet Tea was saying in this moment, because she was just making it seem like Greg is the one that's supposed to control how she move, how she talk, or who she talks to, or whatever. So Toya asked Sweet Tea, is there a way we can have you and Quad have a conversation? And Sweet Tea's like, well, that all depends on she's like, only Greg can make that decision. And it's just like, what do you mean? No, we need to be. Can you and Quad have a conversation? Is the question. So then Toya's like, well, she's asking Sweet Tea, well, like, would you walk away from us as friends? And Sweet Tea's like, well, not necessarily. She's like, it all depends on Greg. She just putting everything on Greg. So then Toya and Mimi are like, well, what does Letitia want to do? What do you want to do? And Sweet Tea is just like, well, I don't really know. She's like, I don't know. And she basically like, if you guys want to choose sides, then it is what it is. She like leaving it all up to Greg, which I kind of get, because it's just like Greg is they real friends and she just came into the group or whatever. So it's just like, it's kind of up to, if Greg wants to be around these people, she'll be around these people. But at the same time, have a mind of your own, Sweet Tea. They asking you specifically, not about what Greg wants. So this hilarious ass scene. Greg and Eugene, they go to Scott's place to chop it up. Greg mentions, nobody reached out to me after the Key West trip, blase, blase. Eugene tells Greg, he's like, well, I was giving you time to cool off, because I know if it was me, I would want that time to cool off too. So then Eugene brings up, I heard that you supposedly called the police. And Greg's like, why wouldn't I call the police? And then he's like, simple battery. And Eugene's like, don't you have to touch somebody to give that charge? He's like, did King touch you? And Greg's like, no, he did not. And I'm just like, this nigga Greg is delusional. Like, what? You've been better off saying attempted assault instead of saying simple battery. So Greg's like, well, I heard you can get up to 90 days prison time or fined or probation. And it's like, I get that Greg's coming from a place where he's still angry or whatever, but it's just like trying to get another man locked up or trying to get him put in the system it's still fucked up. So Eugene's like, well, me personally, I wouldn't be calling the police, blase, blase. Greg's like, well, we grown now. This ain't the playground. He's like, I tried to talk nice to King. And it's like, yeah, you was talking nice to King up until you said that you told Quad that she needed to shut the fuck up or something like that. And if you watch the shit back, he never even told Quad to shut the fuck up. All he said was, you got a big fucking mouth. And I still don't understand how King didn't realize he was talking to Quad, because King was looking right back at them when Greg said that to Quad. So it still confuses me on how King didn't realize that Greg said that. But other than that, I'm just like, okay. So then Eugene asks Greg, like, what is the solution for you and King? How can we resolve this? And Greg's like, you know what I want? He's like, you know what I want? And then he cues up this video of him singing. He's singing this damn song, sounding terrible as hell. Sweet Tea in the background, directing, whatever the fuck. He's like, he want to be free. But he just not gonna sit and be lied on, and he want to just live his life with his new wife. Whole bunch of, and Eugene and Sky's just cracking up. Eugene's like, okay, sexy chocolate or whatever she called him. And I'm just like, we not about to cheer this on. And then Eugene in his confessional talking about something. Now me and Scott can press charges against Greg for having listened to that damn song. And I was just like, yes. It was just so crazy. Then you hear Sweet Tea at the end, like, that's good. I liked that, Gregory. It's just like, no, don't condone his bullshit. Like, that song, I mean, if it by all means helps him get over Quad, then by all means. But I was just like, really? This nigga is just I don't even know. So we get this So the next thing, the ladies begin to arrive at Quad's. You know, Quad's throwing this little woman's, just the ladies, whatever. So Toya's like, is Phaedra coming? And Quad was like, she wasn't invited. And then she goes on to say, you know, one of the rules is that we can't talk about nothing from the past. And I'm just like, that's because no, you don't want nobody to call you on your shit, because you know that you and King hold some responsibility for what happened. And you know you was drunk as hell that night. You was saying stuff, and may not have been as malicious as what Greg was saying back to you, but you was saying shit too to be funny, be petty, whatever. That's why you don't want nobody to talk about the past, because you don't want nobody to tell you was wrong in certain situations too. It's just crazy. Like, nobody's holding Quad accountable for nothing. And I think it's because at the beginning of this season, she was all down their throats saying how they did her last season, so they don't want to ruffle no feathers. That's what it felt like. Talking about we not going to bring up the past. I was just like, girl. So contestants like, why'd you say we're not going to bring up the past? Quad's like, I just feel like we talked about the past enough, and I just want us to reconnect and have a good time. I'm just like, I'm so over Quad. So Simone's like, well, we speaking in the future. Are you coming to Toya's anniversary party? So, and then Toya's like, I have the invitation in the car. And Quad's like, oh, you know, we would love to be there, but due to certain circumstances, I may not be there. And Toya then tells Quad, you know, if you have the option to reconsider, I would hope you will reconsider. And Quad says in her confessional that Greg did file charges against King. So if Sweet Tea and Greg are at Toya's event, then her and King won't be in attendance. It's like, okay, I kind of understand that. But why she said that way if due to certain circumstances, I won't be there? Why would King be there if he's the one getting the charges pressed against him? I don't know, but either way, because she said it like, I won't be there. Why wouldn't you say we wouldn't be there? But either way, this is when Simone's, you know, she said, this is when she brings up the day after the incident happened, King, you know, apologizing and taking accountability, saying he did too much, or whatever the case may be. And she's like, that speaks volumes. That's what a man does, blah, blah, blah. And Quad's like, that's why I love him. And it's just like, okay, we get it. We get that what he did, but it's like at the same time, why aren't y'all giving Sweet Tea and Greg the same grace? I mean, y'all saying that they not taking accountability, but it's just like nobody came to check on them. Like, y'all just throwing them under the bus, making it seem like they were the aggressors, making it seem like they was the one that started it. It was just a lot I just felt like, why are we all going at Sweet Tea and Greg so hard? And Quad and King don't take they don't get no accountability. And mind you, before King even apologized and took accountability or whatever, nobody even checked them about them being wrong. He had to say it himself. So y'all didn't even check them before he said it himself. So it lets me know y'all probably wouldn't have said nothing to King and Quad in the first place. He had to speak it for himself. So the ladies agree, like, yes, King, that's a good man. He apologized, all the blase blase. So then Toya brings up the conversation that she had with Mimi and Sweet Tea when they went out for drinks. Mimi chiming in, talking about something. There was a lack of accountability on Sweet Tea's end, and a seemingly unwillingness to move forward. And I'm just like, I'm starting not to like you, because you already coming into the group and you talking about you don't even know how deep this situation goes. You wasn't here last season to see how the stuff played out between Sweet Tea, Greg, and Quad. So it just like, I felt like she just needed to be quiet. I don't care if you're a psychiatrist and you seeing what you see and you doing your assessments, but no. I just felt like you don't need to say nothing, Dr. Mimi. So then Contessa asked Mimi full out. She's like, did Sweet Tea say out her mouth that she's not willing to move forward? And Mimi's like, well, she said she didn't know. So it's just like, girl, that's what I mean. Just be quiet. So then Toya brings up Sweet Tea, you know, saying if Toya got to choose, and she got to do what she got to do. And at this point, then Toya says, and if I got to choose, well, it won't be you. Talking about Sweet Tea. Basically saying she would choose Quad. And all the ladies like, you hear that, Quad? And Quad gets emotional and turns around. And I'm just like, and then they show all the clips of Quad dogging Toya ass out, talking about her sleeping with her contractors, talking about her being in debt, and calling Eugenia. Remember, she called him a bitch. And it's just like, y'all went through, and Toya's like, we went through so much and we're in a good space. But it's just like, girl, she done did so much to you compared to the rest of the house, rest of the cast. And you got a nerve to be talking about you would pick her. And I'm not saying pick Sweet Tea, but it's just like, if I was you, I wouldn't pick neither one of them. That's my thing. Don't even pick. Like, why are you picking? And you picking Quad, like, that's crazy to me. But either way, we get this final scene where Jackie and Curtis go to visit Phaedra. Jackie, she sits down with Phaedra and she tells her, it hit me hard when you said that I didn't come and check on you in Key West. And I felt that because I didn't come and check on you. So then Phaedra's like, she was heated that day and she did take her anger out on Jackie. She says Heavenly was being shady as always. And she calls Heavenly the devil's daughter. And Jackie's like, well, and this is another, Jackie is like, well, Heavenly said that she told you Apollo was coming. And they show the clip again of Heavenly asking Phaedra if it's okay for Apollo to come. Even though she had already invited Apollo before she asked Phaedra. So that was shady on Heavenly. But she did ask Phaedra and Phaedra didn't say no. And Phaedra doesn't deny it again in this moment. Because when Jackie came to her room in Key West, she said, well, Heavenly said that she asked you if Apollo could come. And you said it was okay. And Phaedra didn't deny it then. And now she bring it up again. Phaedra doesn't deny it here. She just keep changing the subject to other stuff. So Jackie had a point. She's in her confessional. She's like, Phaedra knew everything. Phaedra knew Apollo was coming. Phaedra knew Shek was coming. Phaedra knew Shek and Apollo knew each other. Phaedra just didn't like how the plan backfired on her. So I understood where Jackie was coming from in that instance. But at the same time, the way it played out, y'all didn't have her back. And it seemed like y'all was just siding with Apollo and his messy ass, ratchet ass wife before y'all even sided with y'all friend, who's supposed to be y'all friend. So I understood where Phaedra was coming from too. So Jackie asked Phaedra, are you going to at least come to Toya's event? And Phaedra's like, oh, no, I don't want to be around the group. I don't trust. And Jackie's like, well, I don't want you to feel like you can't come around the group anymore. And Phaedra's like, she says in her confessional that she's done more for the group than they've done for themselves. And I'm just like, I don't know about that, Phaedra. I mean, last season you was there for Quad when she was going through her whole situation. So for Quad to just throw her to the dust this season, I'm looking at Quad. I mean, I've been looking at Quad sideways this season anyway, but maybe last season Phaedra did have Quad's back like that. But to say that you did more for the group than they did for themselves is a reach. I was like, that's a reach, Phaedra. So, but then she tells Jackie, I don't see any moving forward with the group. So I don't think we're gonna see Phaedra anymore. I mean, she didn't need to be on the show anyway. She came on there talking with, supposed to have been talking to a doctor. We never got to see his face. He was a cartoon character. We did get his name, but we never seen his face. And now she on here with this dude. With Shek. I don't even know what he does, but it's just like she ain't married to medicine. So it's just like she don't need to be on the show anyway. She wasn't really giving much anyway, so it's just like, are we gonna miss her? I don't know. Like I said, I think they should bring Anila back with her husband Kieran, or maybe that other what's her name, Audra and her husband. They could bring them back, or bring Mariah Huck back. Make it interesting. Do something. I don't know, but that's how the episode ends. And like I said, I would grade it a C- because I don't like how they didn't really make Quad and King take accountability, but they want Sweet Tea and Greg too. So it's just kind of like, I just don't like how they pushing Greg and Sweet Tea out. But last season it was all about them. They was all up their ass, wanted them to be the whole storyline of the season. So it's just like, and now Quad's back and they just doing the back shuffle. It's just like, and y'all wonder why Phaedra feels the way she feels about y'all, and she calls y'all these type of bitches. But yeah, those are my little thoughts for this week's episode. Yeah, like I said, I would give it a C-. Comment below what you would grade it, what you thought about it, if there's anything I left out or I was off on or forgot, or you just have your general opinions, leave them in the comments. Like and subscribe to the channel. It takes less than 5 seconds of your time. If you like things Married to Medicine, then Married to Medicine related things would pop up if you hit the like button and subscribe button. They will pop up on your algorithm. It's anonymous. It's free. I can go on and on about how many ways that liking and subscribing supports my channel. So just like and subscribe. Comment below. Thanks for watching this review, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.